This is where it all started. Bitcoin is having significant retracement. Okay, look at it on the price action. Market come down, move upward, create a new close, okay, but not a new high. And right now, at this very point, if we see a breakout here, something very, very bad is going to happen to the market, but not bad for buyers. I'm going to discuss this in detail in this very video, so watch through all along. And if you look at the buy price action right at this very point, discover that the price of pi have not been looking that good after this very aggressive pump all the way to the upside. Market come back down into that expected area of interest that I've been talking about. We have a movement and the market come back down into our second point of interest. Have this retracement or correction ended for the market to move all the way from here all the way to the upside? Very important in this very video. Let's discuss this. And Ethereum is maintaining strength. In my opinion, Ethereum is not going to go down aggressively, even though we see a significant drop in the price of Bitcoin. And the reason for that is because if you look at the ETHBTC chart, that chart looks very bullish in favor of ETH, and market have capacity of moving all the way to the upside, and that is why Ethereum have not come down that much, okay, below this very area of important support. So market come back down here. There is greater capacity of the market moving from here all the way to the upside. Let's discuss all of this and watch this video all the way to the very end. There's a very important flip coming in right here on the price of Bitcoin, and if you look at it critically, you discover that this very area is an important area of interest where the market is right now. Important support level right here, and market is also having rejection, and this rejection is not a new thing in the market. We do see rejection like this, and afterward the market is going to begin to move upward. What I am expecting personally is that this very area should hold for the market to move upward. And if this very area of important support fail to hold at this very point, then the next point of interest that I am keeping my eye on is this very area right here, because this is very important. Market is going to come back down into this very area of $100,000. Now you may be asking, does it mean that the market is going to go all the way to the downside? Probably yes, but for me, I don't think that is what we're going to see in the market. I am looking at a retracement, of course, and market coming into this area is not a bad thing. Market is still going to move all the way to the upside. And by the way, if you look at the 1 week chart, the 1 week chart looks very, very bullish. The 1 day chart looks a little bit bearish. That is a correction coming into the 1 day chart. But if you look at the 4-hour chart right here, that means market have capacity of coming back down into this area, respecting the 1 day chart before we can begin to see market from here moving upward if we see a breakout of this very level of important support. This is what you must have to pay attention to right now on the price of Bitcoin. And if I go down a little bit to the 1 day chart, it is covered that this very price action looks very, very bearish. That means correction coming into the market from this very area, and I don't think this correction is going to be aggressive. Okay, that is why I am looking at the market coming back down a little bit into this very area, okay, like 40% retracement or 45% retracement for the market to begin to move upward. Because if you look at it, market move from this very area to this very point, and the market coming back down to this very area is about 35-40% retracement for the market to move upward. And that is why you must have to focus on this, because even though the 1 day chart is retracing, the 1 week chart is very, very bullish. That also translates to the fact that this very week we may not see aggressive pump in the price of Bitcoin. I am not expecting that again. If you are expecting that, that is fine, but personally I am not expecting any aggressive pump in the price of Bitcoin this very week. That may happen next week, but this week is off the table for me, and that is what I am paying attention to right now. Remember, tomorrow is weekend already, and when market begin to dump like this approaching weekend, we don't expect much during the weekend. And this is why you must have to pay attention to this very Bitcoin 1 day and 4-hour chart because it's very important for the market moving upward. And if you look at the Pi price action, you discover that I made mention of the fact that the Pi price chart have turned to a pump and dump kind of token. Look at it right here. Market pump all the way from this very point, and right now we have about 90% retracement all the way to the downside from where it pumped from at this very point, which means if you are trading this very coin, you need to be very careful and collect profit at time, okay? Because market can pump all the way to the upside and you see aggressive dump all the way downward, which is not very good for the market. If you look at this price action, market broke out of this level of important point of support. That was an important point of interest, and market come back down into this very area, another point of interest for us, which means market still have capacity of coming all the way to the downside. Because if you notice here where the market is right now, there is no good volume in the market right now from the bulls. The buyers don't have volume. What that also implies is that market have capacity of coming all the way to the downside, and the point of interest that I am not paying attention to on this very price action, if we see a breakout right here, is this very point, okay? So I am not looking at the market coming into this very area because this very area is not that important for me. Where I am not looking at is this very point right here, okay? This is where I am expecting the next drop will go into if the market break out of this level of important support. So this is what you need to pay attention to right now, because a breakout here is going to make the market come back down into this area before we can find volume for the market moving upward, if that possibility exists in the market, especially on the price action when that time comes. So this is what I am not looking at on the price of Pi. And if you look at the Pi mainnet here, you discover that in the last 48 hours there is no much migration, and this is very important for us to look at, because most time when we see much migration and much Pi token be released into circulation, it tends to make the price of Pi dump all the way to the downside. What that also means is that if we see much migration in the next 24 hours, there is a high possibility of this market dumping from here all the way to the downside, because miners that get this coin is going to come right into the market and dump it at this very price, further shifting the price all the way to the downside. And this is very important, and we need to pay attention to this on this very price action. This is what I am not looking at on the price of Pi right here. If the market did not have volume here, market is going to come down into this very area before the next move upward. And on ETH, which is very important for all altcoins, is that market is maintaining strength, which is very good for ETH and every other altcoin out there. Look at it right here. Market come back down into this very area of interest, move upward, create a new high compared to what Bitcoin did, and come back down, a little bit of retracement, which is also cool, and market have capacity of moving upward. But what I am looking at is for market to come back down into this very point. If market come back down into this very point, it would be nice to take a buy position from here if we see good volume from this very area for the market to move upward. That is what I am expecting. And if we see a breakout of this very point of important support, then that means market is going to come back down into this very area. And this is what you must have to pay attention to right now. So these are the two most important levels I am looking for if market come back down. Okay, this level first of all, and this very area is the two levels I am expecting market to pause for the next move all the way to the upside on the price of ETH. And if you look at the ETH 1-day chart, you discover that the market is very bullish. Look at it right here. You discover this bullish momentum on this price action have capacity of continuing all the way to the upside, even though we see minimal retracement. So minimal retracement to the downside does not mean market is going to go all the way to the downside. Okay, the possibility of market coming into this very area of 1,600 1,500 is there, but I am not looking at that anymore. That is off the table for me. Ethereum is going to move all the way to the upside after little correction into this area, movement upward or correction into this area. Market is going to move upward on the 1 day chart. And if you go down again to the 1 week chart, you discover that it is super bullish all the way to the upside. And the best thing to do is to take a buy, okay, for your favorite altcoin for long-term holding. And if you come to crypto bubbles, you discover that the coin that have the highest drop right now in the past 24 hours is Pi. 26.5%. Look at it right here. It take the chunk of this very drop all the way to the downside because of what we are seeing right here on this very price action, which is not good at all for a coin like Pi that is still in the mining process. And this is why we must have to pay attention to this if you want to be in the right direction of the market, if you want to trade this very token. And the reason why I have not taken a position yet on Pi is because of this very challenge of pumping and dumping all the way to the downside on this very token. And this is why I am keeping my eye on this very level right here for the market to move upward. If there is a good volume or market come back down here and we see market move upward from here, if there is a good volume from the bulls, consider supporting this channel by leaving a like for this video, subscribe if you have not, and turn on the bell notification for more crypto videos like this one. Also check the channel for other crypto content. Join our Telegram channel, the link in the description of this very video, and also in the pinned comment for more crypto videos like this one in on-chain data. Thanks for your support.